Hey guys, Turret here, and today we're looking at one of my matches. Played this on stream about a week and a half ago. I'm playing as Ossia, and in the south I've got Blitzkrieg, Lightning War, and Jaeger Infantry. Basically, I've got no interest in playing mobile defense, especially with its nerfs coming, but even then I never really played it before. I knew it was going to get nerfed, and I just had no interest in that kind of playstyle, so it's never really been part of my loadout. But yeah, I do like Blitzkrieg. It's got the Panzer Tactician Smoke, the recon plane, and the circular air supports. I did like for a while. I was trying tactical movement strategies, but not yet. They're not really yet. Anyway, Lightning War is just like classic one. G43s, it's too close air support on the Tiger. And then finally, Jaeger Infantry. This one's like really good at countering snipers, so my go-to when my opponent gets a sniper most of the time. Anyway, on the other side is RilakumaTV. It's US Forces. I think at the time of recording he's rank 1 as Brits, around rank 50 as US Forces, something like that. He's a Korean player, maybe. I think that's what the player card for him says. So yeah, just going about. We're on Westwall. This map, I think it's alright for us here. Like, you can generally make good use of your support weapons through the middle. It is a little large compared to a lot of other maps. I get a little bit lucky. Pioneer scouting, MG just catches them on the edge of the arc. Getting your machine gun flag this early is a real problem, so it's good that that didn't happen. And I chase them with the Pioneers, try to keep them suppressed. It's a risky maneuver because if they came out of suppression there, they might be able to beat my Pioneers, but I was like, oh, I'll just chuck it in there, see what happens. I think it's because maybe I had like two and a half bursts of the machine gun on it, so they were actually decently suppressed. If the machine gun had only got one burst off, the suppression might have worn off there. So that's basically it. Unfortunately, see, my machine gun's slightly too far back here. Similar over here, kind of get caught out in the negative cover. There's no way you can ever beat riflemen in a scenario like that, so you may as well just hit retreat quickly. But I stick around, get them neutralized. Leave my machine gun set up, because it was still covering most of the circle. And so as soon as he tries to come regather his cutoff, I can punish him for it. So he does indeed regather it. Get a lot of damage on both these squads. Don't really get too much else. See, he's off to like a better territory start than me at the moment. But now that I get the 4th grenadier, this is where I a bit of a power spike. So many more units on the field. So he gets his officer. He's in a little bit of trouble. Don't quite get the suppression off there, but that's alright. Now he's going for my cutoff. Got a couple units coming up from base. Didn't unfortunately reinforce this all the way, but that's right. Need the flamethrower for this map, because these buildings can be a bit of a headache. And he notices the flamethrower, so he kind of doesn't push him for the building. But still managed to secure the cutoff. Focus on my Pioneers as I approached as well, in hopes that I wouldn't be able to use them again. Engagement like against this building. But yeah, these buildings are like one shot. One tank shell will flatten them, maybe a few rounds from a 222. So a lot of cutoffs back and forth between us at the moment. I feel like my machine gun plays been alright. Positioning could have been better, but also could have been a lot worse. Jump in the building there just to be able to engage more effectively. So here I jump into the building. There's only 2 windows out of the side. So it's like an okay engagement for him to stay in. Like in a straight building fight, but with the other grenadier there, it's not really very good for him. It's around this point I'm like, oh well, maybe I should put my machine gun in this building. Of course I have no idea these build a pack howitzer. It's a lot of timing where, you know, as you can see, his Stuart wouldn't be coming in for another minute and a half. And I hear that first pack howitzer shot, get out with my grenadier immediately, and I am full panic stations here trying to get my machine gun out. I get extremely lucky to lose 1 model as they exit the building. Could have been an absolute disaster. Bit of a panic retreat there on there as well. Didn't need to retreat it. So 1 pack howitzer. Have to take note of that. It's going to make it harder for my machine gun to be positioned, especially around the centre of the map. We are a magnet for those barrages. Tried to damage them enough on as they cross the road, but didn't really pan out. A lot of my squad's been quite low, no healing yet. So something I need to get on top of. He's got healing on the other hand, which at this point I do have a read on, because the squad's coming out healthy. Interesting though, he brings it up here. I think at this stage of the game I'll probably still leave it in base. The advantage of having your healing still in base is as soon as the squad finishes retreating, they start healing. And you can come out of either side of your base to go to either side of the map without having to come to this point first. And understand, like, later in the game where you have maybe quite a lot of team weapons around here, you want to be able to pull them back for healing or reinforcement. I think at this stage of the game I'd probably leave my ambulance in base. So yeah, I have all these low health squads, I'm like, oh, I'm just gonna... It's bad for map control, but I really feel like I need the healing. I'm very worried about that pack howitzer nailing me. Speaking of pack howitzer, he's gone for a second one. And the reason why I wanted to cover this replay is because in this particular session I played against 2 top 50 US Forces players, both going for double pack howitzers. So I was like, well, maybe this is some kind of emerging strategy on ladder. Fortunately I lost that. I don't know how I lost that engagement. Behind like cover, he charged in. Whatever. So with these pack howitzer shots I can kind of hear them coming in, so I guess the pack howitzer shot was going to be targeting this squad, and because that squad's already so low to start off with, I was like, okay, I can safely leave the cover, charge in here and avoid that pack howitzer shot. So, you know, it does pay to listen to your sound. I personally don't have the music on. I find that a lot easier to hear those kind of audio cues. And you see pack howitzer landing a nasty hit there. It's actually quite active with his pack howitzers, moving them around using the barrage. Barrage is very long range, so you have to remember compared to the autofire. So yeah, I upgraded the LMG when I didn't realise he had 2 pack howitzers. And I feel like that's a bit of a mistake. Fighting against 2 pack howitzers, you don't want LMGs. Like, you don't want to be standing around stationary with your units and risk getting killed by the pack howitzer. But you can see my map control's been quite bad. Like, I was quite late getting the healing. Stuck around to my base a while to heal up. And pack howitzer's going off here. So this creates a very lethal situation for me. Because if both those pack howitzer shells connect on a unit, they can wipe it pretty easily. Going for the M5, you don't see that too often from Tactical Support. Also got himself a few M1919s. benefits of this are you can fight at long range, which is nice when you got the pack houses to kind of sit back. Because I'm fighting against these double pack houses, the onus is kind of on me to push in and try and like make them reposition and whatnot. So he is quite effective at long range because I have to close the distance in this particular scenario. Plus you don't have to spend fuel and manpower on weapon racks at this stage of the game. I try to go for incendiary rounds, but unfortunately I was targeting the wrong unit. I lose my machine gun there. That burst of incendiary rounds had actually hit the M5. I think like originally maybe I was targeting it, but then I lost sight of it, then switched targets, but then yeah, for that burst I didn't get it. But anyway, it's making use of the reinforcements from this. Do try and come up here to regather my machine gun though. But because he's got the reinforcements from the half track, I actually... Otherwise, without the reinforcements, I'll be able to win this engagement, but in this current case, I cannot. So I'm in a pretty tough position. I've got a pack to try and help with the M5, but that's obviously going to be quite vulnerable to the double pack howitzers. So positioning on that's going to be key. At this stage, a 222 could be an option. I didn't really think about it too much. I was worried about the maybe him chucking a couple bazooka squads in this, taking out my 222 pretty easily. I know that Twisted Tootsie's been doing that a lot on ladder. Not with this particular half track, with the M3, which has one extra weapon slot, but the strategy the same. So I'm in big trouble here, getting almost no map control, constantly being cut off, having to deal with double pack howitzers and now my own machine gun being turned against me. But this is this is pretty standard for me, because I tend to have quite slow starts, as Aussie especially, because I don't really use the Flame half track or the Puma, which is kind of a lot of games look like in those scenarios. So I didn't know my machine gun was here. My pack misses the first hit, so that's pretty disastrous. Try to come in from multiple angles. Do select Commander, Lightning War. Now getting some G43s. So as I said, using G42s is just no good against the pack howitzers. This means I can be a little bit more mobile. Yeah, those pack howies doing the work. Suppose if I was a little bit faster there, I could have moved out after I won that engagement, but my micro is not super quick. And at this stage I'm like, well, I'm in big trouble. I need to make like I need to make a big play. So I go for the Flak Panzer. The advantage of the Flak Panzer, obviously it comes 30 fuel early, and because I'm constantly getting cut off, there's basically no way I'm making it to a Panzer full anytime soon. And I figure he's gone for this, and I did cut him off for at least a little bit in the early game. So if I get a Flak Panzer now, timing should be fine, where it'll be on the field uncounted by a Sherman or similar for at least a decent chunk of time. And of course it's very strong against infantry. My plan is to make a heroic charge here with it and try and knock out these pack howitzers. Which is wheeling back for some reason. Let's bring them back in. Try to ambush them around the corner here. So here comes the Flak Panzer. He's unprepared for this. He's got a bazooka, a few AT grenade squads. Nothing too much. Now I'm going straight for the pack howies. Bundle grenade in there. This is now prime for the wipe on retreat. I get it there with the G43s. I suppose with this bazooka squad's probably my #1 threat here. Lost my pack. Unfortunately, he's trying to steal it in back play. Going in, trying to get that pack out, so but he gets around the side. I probably got distracted by the captain squad for too long there. Maybe I should have focused more on killing the pack outs and being able to steal it, but we get away with that Panzer Grenadier, so that was actually quite lucky. Now my focus is on making sure I don't lose my pack. It would obviously be a massive disaster. Getting another squad of pioneers. Because when you're trying to make a shock attack like this, anytime your vehicle has to spend, like, not on the battlefield repairing is a massive detriment to the shock impact, so very important to have fast repairs. Don't want to chase him any further. Unfortunately, don't get that wipe. Too many bazookas around. But I have to make sure I regather my pack, so I need to keep my flak panzer in there for a little bit longer. Draw fire with it. Pull back. So all in all, you know, I got a lot of territory on the back of that. You can see I'm capping up most of the map. Wipe one squad, regather my pack, so pretty good, but not crazy. Also floating a little bit too much manpower here. At this timing, yeah, I do go for it. I need another pack. Going for the flak panzer. I don't have enough anti-tank. And if I want to hope to survive against something like the Sherman, which he's just built, I need 2 anti-tank guns, otherwise it's just like leaving it up to chance. I might be able to survive. I'm lucky with the Faust and my AT gun positioning, but you don't want to leave it up to chance. So I'm going for a second pack. So this is something I've been kind of practicing a little bit. My control groups, like in the last few months, trying to make use of control group 6 for a second anti-tank gun, so I can use anti-tank guns separately more effectively, so I can cover more territory. Like, there is a lot of benefits using 2 anti-tank guns together, because by being together, like, they can knock out a tank very quickly, especially just like a regular medium tank. 2 shots from each and then it'll kill the tank. But situations like this, where pack houses are going to be targeting them, very risky trying to use them together, because just like, yeah, 2 pack houses shooting at them, if they're close to each other, it's going to get wiped. So that's my plan. Try to use 2 packs separately, but still close enough together so that they could perhaps support each other in an engagement. I want to get the wipe here.
Anti-tank gun ready for action.
My pioneers up for support, bringing my pack up as well, anticipating the Sherman. And I do get the wipe there with the flak panzer. Sherman coming around, he didn't complete repairs, and he's still on high explosives, so I don't have too much to worry about here. Pop blitz anyway. It is there for the Faust. Pack comes around the corner. Flak panzer gets on the rear armor again, blocking him. Pack loses sight here briefly around this corner, so I have to bring it forwards to try and get the kill. A little bit of miss micro here, should have stayed on the rear armor, but secure the kill on the Sherman, so that was a pretty big mistake there from him. First off, being on high explosive. Second off, you know, just not having enough support for a Sherman up there. Getting caught off guard by the Faust pretty massively. Now I really want to go back in, knock out those pack howitzers, but now he's got a bundle of AT, lots of bazookas and M1, so I have to take a very creative path to get out of there. Actually quite lucky, he doesn't have any squads with snares anywhere near this. Especially at this point where my pathing kind of bugs out, spin around a few times. Easily could have been a loss of my flak panzer there, but a little bit lucky. And he also gets sloppy using his captain. I'm making a pretty big assault here. So many squads. Machine gun is unable to escape. Using some major artillery, so I don't bother trying to chase him on the machine gun. Just continue the assault. Because I've got G43s, very effective at just like charging in, firing on the move, whereas the LMG Grenadiers would be hopeless in a situation like this. And my eyes on the prize. I want these pack houses. Also have enough resources now to build myself another Panzer IV. A little bit too close to his base to really assault the second pack out, so but I'm alright. Secured his first one. Now I have a monstrous army size advantage. But VPs are horrible for me. As I said, I got that horrible start with very little VP control. So now the game becomes for me ensuring that I have control of at least 2 VPs at all times, which even against like a smallish army can be quite tricky in situations like this. I don't think I used them. Maybe I did, but ace mines on the VPs are very helpful. I also don't have that many munitions right now. But yeah, I feel like I really turned the corner in those last couple of engagements. It's kind of like bringing in units from many sides. Managed to steal away a pack out there, and the flak panzer was just like the exact right choice. I was quite proud of myself. You know, I recognized the situation. I was disconnected from my fuel, way behind, but like the stage of tech he was in, he was a little bit vulnerable. Wasn't going to be able to field a Sherman for a little bit himself, so flak panzer could have good action, and then I could cover up its weak timing with double anti-tank guns. By having a second anti-tank gun up here in the north, I was able to secure the kill on the Sherman. Could have dived in there, might have got the kill, but would have lost my Panzer forward to the M1, so just going to play it cautiously. Unfortunately, didn't regather my machine gun from down here. I had that 2-man squad available to capture it, so I didn't want to sacrifice the squad to cap it, but he did. Briefly neutralize the VPs, and we've got a long way to go. 500 VPs. It's a bloody long way to go. Pretty much at supply limit now. Packs do occupy a decent chunk of supply, though I think they were reduced. They used to be 8, now they're 7, so it's a little bit better than it used to be. Got triple pioneers now for super speedy repairs. This pack over here, this pack over here, moving them around separately. This is what I've been focusing on. Bringing this one up in support of the flak panzer along with the Grenadier, just in case the Sherman comes up to try and bully it. I'm well prepared to defend it. He's just got very little map control right now. It's actually quite risky for him to send units up here, because it's quite a long retreat path down this road. Hopefully it doesn't really pan out. He's had very bad focus on trying to regather his fuel. I have to say that it's quite bad from him. He's kind of just now camping his sector.
We're losing a capture point. Heavy machine gun team ready for orders. Someone get us out of here.
So I had a pack there ready. Panzer 4 came around in support just in case the Sherman tried to chase. It didn't. I was well prepared for it. So now it's just about making sure I don't have any huge error, you know, lose units, especially a tank, and then lose VP control on the back of that. He's side-ticked to the lieutenant, which I think was another mistake, honestly. Do a little bit of flank on the machine gun there. If he didn't tick the lieutenant, he could have got a second tank by now. I feel like that would probably be his best path to victory. Oh, okay, I do get some S-mines down. Well, that was good. As I said, this was about a week and a half ago, so I can't remember exactly what I did, but there we go. S-mines on the VP. Paying off. Didn't even notice that. Now I go for another machine gun. Or rebuilding the one that I turned over to him. But yeah, I don't think he needed another machine gun. He needed another tank. I think his best way to get back into the game was to try and get a 2v1 on one of my tanks, knock one of them out, and then pull back for repairs, then make another assault before I have time to rebuild. Catch me at a weak timing. Yeah, it was very unfortunate there. I think he's on arm piercing as well, so there you go. But now I got the Terminator squad. G43s and LMGs. You should actually be able to upgrade them both. Like way back in the day. It was super broken. Oh, I got the pack out, so I'm kind of just playing very cautiously with my units. Use my support weapons more throughout the middle of the map. Just trying to set up a little bit of an ambush here with the anti-tank gun, but I'm also bringing my one up in support, so nothing's going to go too badly wrong there. Flak pans are doing good work. Bring it over to this side because I know his AT gun was up here, I know Sherman was up here. Very safe for me to come down here even without a pack too close by. I'm expecting him to come through this region to try and attack my flak panzers, so that's why I'm setting up there. So he goes for this squad here. Probably rebuild another squad of infantry as well. He's a bit light. And it looks like his unit control's starting to let go. Sending an anti-tank gun down here by itself. I suppose I was supposed to fight my flak panzer, but I just let it risk dying. Probably should have chased that earlier, try and secure the white. Some good flak panzer shots in there. Had a vet too. I'm pretty happy with my flak panzer's performance so far. Once again, he is going for the VP catcher, so that's I really have to prioritise, so my flak pan's up there immediately. He retreats immediately. Because I lost that grenadier, did free up a little bit of supply, so I'm able to build one more tank. So now with 3 tanks I feel ready to get aggressive. One coming in from this angle, 2 coming in from the other. Say T-guns are not really well positioned to deal with this. Focus on this one first. Try and bring my tank guns up in support. There goes that one. I'm trying to stick around to destroy it as well. I don't want to get him recruit. And there goes that. We ended up losing one Panzer IV, but at the moment I don't really care too much because this has forced him off the map a little bit. I've got pretty much enough resources to rebuild that Panzer IV immediately, so it's not really my number one concern. Perhaps I should have been a little bit better about moving this anti-tank gun up. Like, it was pretty good, got a shot in first, like early on in that engagement on this Sherman, but then kind of wasn't relevant and just left it there while I was trying to micro my 3 tanks. But as I said, I'm not a micro god. I don't have super high APM. In fact, in this match, I think I analysed that. There's not like proper APM counter for COH2, I don't think. There's like a clicks per minute. My clicks per minute was 45 in this game. So obviously with like keyboards, button presses, they would be a lot higher, but not like spamming clicks. If you added in like how many times I activate the tactical map, you would probably see a much higher number, but that's a different story.
German infantry, cut 'em down.
Yeah, a little bit greedy here, going in for his munitions point. We got the pack alley. A bit of a taste of his own medicine.
300 points remaining.
And my pack and support for this engagement as well.
Capture point is being overrun.
And then this main gun destroyers recruit this one, bringing it out with a little bit of defences. Trying to focus down the AT gun. I get a feeling like he's going to be coming around this side, so I reposition my tank gun to try and cover that angle. But he doesn't actually push in, which was a little bit surprising because he kind of backed off this way and I thought he was going to come around the side. Try to get the finish off, but actually didn't. I managed to hold the line there thanks to those flamethrower pioneers and the suppression. I got my pack there to destroy his AT gun. Things are looking like pretty much the aim is sealed. That last engagement. Now he's draining out on VPs really quickly. My army's like pretty well vetted now. And a large part of that was because I had my pack there. You know, he had 2 Shermans there, but because I had my pack there, he couldn't get aggressive. The other one was on the other flank. I suppose if I had both packs there, I probably would have been able to kill one of them, but trying to cover as much of the map as possible, and by having my other pack over here and bring my vehicles over here and still win basically that exact same engagement. Managed to destroy that pack house. Is so satisfying, man. Those pack houses were terrifying me in the early game, just terrifying and terrorizing. Units slightly more camped around the middle at the moment.
Gun crew just got wiped out.
So you call some major artillery. Pretty good idea, honestly. People underuse the major, but it can be pretty handy. Especially in this case where I had so many units in the area, I couldn't reverse both my pack outs and my pack in time. So he clears that out. Now he's coming in on the back of that with the 2 Shermans. Trying to get some damage done. My flak panzers in trouble, my pack's in trouble, my Panzer IV's not up to full quite yet. I have saved enough munitions for this to do close air support. Call that in. My other pack repositioned as well. Secure the kill on one of them. Chase him with the other, but a little bit too late. This Panzer IV just hitting the field now. Come around the side. stuck in the wreck here, unfortunately.
Right down the hatches. Try to outflank him.
I'm surprised he got a shot off there. It's Panzer IV trying to come in from the side, but not really finding an angle. Getting my pack up in support.
Krauts just took out an entire gun crew. We're at 200
Sherman
points.
comes in. In situations like this, with the Sherman, you want to try keep like a slightly longer distance. Pretty lucky there.
We lost a gun crew. Kraut infantry.
Bouncing that last shot, but in comes the vetted up Panzer IV. Slight miss micro there. But yeah, you want. I think you don't want to drive like point blank. You want to try to stay in mid range. So I think that gives the Panzer IV more opportunities to miss, since it has the worst moving accuracy penalty. I don't think it's worth the bonus penetration trying to get really close on it.
Just lost a medium
You're better off
tank.
trying to utilize the moving accuracy penalty of like fighting at mid-range and hope that the Panzer IV misses a few shots because of it. But yeah, Panzer IV blitzes down the road, secures the kill, and that's the game. So yeah, the key points here for me, I obviously got off to a pretty bad start, but after seeing double pack out, so select this commander, go for G43s over LMGs, realizing that I'm in deep trouble, cut off, no fuel control, but also realizing his stage of tech, where he's not going to have a Sherman probably for another minute, go for the flak panzer, comes in, does a lot of work, gain a lot of map control on the back of it, and that was the start of the turnaround. Then he lost like a whole bunch of squads when there were lots of engagements going on across the map, and it was kind of like reasonably smooth sailing from then on, but I was very happy about how this one turned around after that terrible start. Well, I'll wrap on that, guys. If you like your game to be cast by me, details in the video description below. Otherwise, I'll catch you all for the next thrilling installment. Goodbye and good luck.